I am a tech entrepreneur. I am a partner at KissKissBankBank, which is the European leader of the crowdfunding market. And for 2.5 years now, I've been working for the government. So what have we done? We've been building products, basically. We've been rolling out products like this one. This is the Open Data Portal, which is the only portal that allows citizens to collaborate to the public open data, which is quite interesting. This is the something that helps people, simplifies radically the ability for people to apply to public tender. You can apply to a public tender just with your company number, where before you had to provide several forms and documents. You'll see soon in November a system that allows kind of a Uberization of taxis. You will see any taxi in France behind this button, the taxi. This is for disabled people. This is very important. This was the first national startups. You know, France is known to have a welfare state made of many social aids, social welfare, but that are delivered by multiple silos. You know, you get this social aid at this silo, this. This complexity has made that there is today in France 40% of the people that have the right to those social aids that they do not use them. So this is a drama. So we built a complete simulator that, from a personal situation, from a personal standpoint, gives all what your rights are. This was amazingly new. A collaborative national database address, and last, you may know that the job market is not made of job lists. It's only 25%. Job announcements is 25% of the market, and 75% of the market is just about contacting companies. But when you don't know, but you can, if to directly contact companies, you can go to a public directory, but the alphabetic classification is not really useful. You'd better have access to corporates that are really willing to hire in the near future, and with big data, you can do that. We are doing that product and releasing it in October. So. But why am I telling this? Well, we are just doing product. We are doing agile, digital products. But actually, there's something new. Nobody ordered those products. Nobody orders. In case you didn't hear, the customers, they didn't ask for something new. They could complain, but they wouldn't ask. And the system itself will not think out of the box, actually, to imagine such products. So I will share with you the 6 recipes we've used so far, and hope it can be useful to you. I'll try to be very concrete. In case you didn't hear that before, which problem do you solve? This comes at the beginning. The thing you can reuse here, this has been said so many times, but please do it. At the very beginning of the product, we try to write what will be the motto of the product. And this was written at day one. Share, well, I'll translate for you, sorry. Share, improve, and reuse public data. This is the goal. And the interesting part is when you do that, le taxi, one click, one taxi, which is a promise. And what I mentioned for the public tenders, you can apply to public tender only with your company number. You can write this down, and the very, very, very early meetings, you can do that. And what you can do even is that when you've done that, when you get the motto, you can go out and this is the first version of the product. a fake home page, and you can try it out outside. You can go outside with that. This is really, really useful as a method. But as you know, the problem is, as Yves mentioned, the problem is not to have good ideas, actually, and the process is not finding good ideas. Actually, the process is not to look for an innovation, but is look for an innovator. So you've been listening to entrepreneurship or external entrepreneurship. We are using both, but basically, and my best experience was when we 6 months ago, when we started the startups at Pôle Emploi, which is the French administration for the jobs. We did that by the book. You know, it is quite new to call for innovators. Innovators are often people that complain, as you know, the guy that is never happy, or say we could do it better. Why do we do that? Why do we do it this way? It is not possible that customers, blah blah blah, wait so long, or it is not possible that our agents can't explain, blah blah blah. And what we usually do, you know what, is we're sending an invitation letter to gather those guys. The last one we did was the big boss of Pôle Emploi. I wrote it down for him. And the letter basically says, but you can send such a letter tomorrow, and you will have people like this. The letter says, well, your high hall, because it's for everybody, not just for managers. It's really for the people in the frontliners. High hall, you've been probably experiencing or being witness of recurring pains for our agents or for our customers, and if you've been such a witness and you have an idea of a digital product that could solve the problem, please be there at that time, that place. When we did that at Pôle Emploi last year, 1 month ago, we had 120 people coming from all over France. 120 people. I was very surprised because, and it was sad also because we only selected 2. Because the promise was that the winners of the contest would have access to resources like a coach and 2 programmers to make a team, a product champion, someone that knows the problem, you know, and a coach, a lean coach, an agile lean coach, and 2 programmers, and this makes a startup for us. So this is the first step of our process. We always do that, and you know why? Because it's hard to innovate. So you need to have the people that have special mind and that will go through this an easy process of delivering a product in a large organization. Another rule that we apply is that users are the boss. Users are the boss. So of course we gather the early users. We are doing iterations. So we have a ritual meeting called an open lab where every future users will. And we at this meeting we do a demo and we get feedback. So this meeting is very important. You put the partners and the user at the very beginning. So like this, you gear the product towards end user benefits. If you don't do that, which is what we usually do, using requirements, documents, etc. But when we do that internally, you gear the product toward solving internal problems and not obviously end users' problem. When you have the voice of the when you have the voice of the customer inside, it's really interesting. It's really interesting because sometimes those voices, they go against the boss. They break rules. They say, no, you have the rule that a digital certificate is needed to apply for a public tender, but this makes small companies out because they don't have such technology, blah, blah, blah. And the rule is that you need a digital certificate because you are talking to the government. And it's easier to break rules when you have end users with you. And this is very important. I mean, this sentence is not mine. It's Eliyahu Goldratt, the father of theory of constraints. I mean, when you're bringing an innovation, there is something new. And the system before used to live without this innovation. And he built rules, elegant or inelegant rules, to live without the innovation. So now that you have an innovation, like a computer or something, a social network, whatever, you need to give up ancient rules so that you take the real value. So this is something that we always encounter. And this makes our relationship with the empire even harder because we know that we won't do like they used to do, and this will hurt the people, even if we don't want to hurt, we just want to serve customers. This has been said a lot, but again, I will repeat and give examples. Often with project, time is negotiable. What we do with our national startup is that we say we align on a 6-month first minimum viable product. So we'll roll out here. But we know that we will have happy clients here with the little building. But we know that we want to go there, then there, then there. Then rule the world. But at the beginning, there were just a few bunch of happy customers. They were really interesting in solving their problems. So remember the chain. It was to find an innovator that knows the problem, then gather the people that will directly benefit from the problem being solved, and put them in the ritual meeting, and be sure that when you roll out, they will be happy. Of course, if I'm doing a huge marketing campaign here, and instead of my 100 happy customers, I'm trying to have 1 million, I will fail. Because at this stage, the product is only for the first happy fews. For instance, the simulator, the social aid simulator I mentioned earlier. You know, when we first, François Hollande, the French president of the Republic, introduced this simulator 6 months after we first started. So it was available. It was available with a low profile, because it was a .gov website, so we have a beta. You know, here, the government is trying innovation for you. So this is low profile, but he launched the product, but the product actually was sometimes wrong. It was not 100% fair. I mean, for special edge case, it did not include special edge cases like if you were a farmer in the Martinique, or if you were a young woman, a young pregnant woman. You know, those edge cases that that required even more coding, even more complexity. But we were there. And we solved some of the problem I mentioned, which is the 40% people not taking their rights. And then we iterated. I assume we are a bit here today. All the ministers say, and it is widely used now after 1 year. So it is important to roll out product and go to benevolent customers, and then go viral and grow. So now, whatever problem I'm asked in the government, I always say this, and they ask me, Pierre, how much will it cost? How long? How many people? I always say 6 months, 4 people. Whatever the problem. This is real. Something blinking here. This one is important. We know that we are, as you mentioned, you have the empire here, and we have those small autonomous team of 3 to 4 people, multidisciplinary, and trying to build a product. Of course, those products, they have dependencies. I cannot make the promise of public tenders, automatic public tenders, where before you had to bring documents. So now, to bring the service of, you don't have to show me a document. I must be connected to the administration that deliver the document through an API, etc. So I am the small team, and here I am asking something. Here I am iterating on a weekly basis. I am asking something at a team that is iterating on a yearly basis. And this is just reality. I mean, this is not, they are not wrong, and I'm not right. I'm just smaller, and I have different constraints. My constraints is agility. Their constraints is security. So we have a legitimate people on both sides. But you know the tragedy in the end. You know the tragedy. I will ask for something. So we are on this. We are very creative not to create dependencies. For the public tender, we needed this API that approved the documents for the company not to have to bring it by themselves. So to launch our product, you know, the API was not available yet. The guys were late, but we started our products. And what did we do? When we had companies applying for tenders, we were manually doing getting the documents and putting in the document. So we hired interns to do that for 3 months. And maybe next time I'll find a better solution. But it's very important that all those dependencies that you always have, whether you try to avoid them with a manual solution, or you take them very seriously and you put them at the beginning. This is before you start working, you try to help those teams that will have to deliver you something that is needed by your product. Last. So this is the big hairy question, like Steve would say. We've been dealing with this one, but you know, times they are changing, and success sucks. You know, lean startups live in a context where we are evaluating agility. We are pivoting, we are changing, we are agility. But you know, next year there will be more simplified public tender in France than there will be public tenders. So the problem now for Marchés Publics Simplifiés is not agility. We are not pivoting, it's just security. If my little machine or my programmer, my DevOps team falls sick, there is no public tender in France. So you imagine, this has happened in 1 year. 1 year ago, this did not exist. And the companies, they would fill forms and provide documents and to apply. now they just put their proposition and a company number. Then we had thousands and thousands of public tenders, and now we are in this situation where our matter is security. So we are becoming more and more like what I've called the empire, the core IT, or things like this. So, and here our idea is not different from what Susanna told you later. We are not, you don't sell a product to another organization with the source code and the documentation. The product will be killed, of course. It is so different from what is been doing inside. So this does not work. What we've been doing is, how will I translate this? Un sas de décompression. Who will help me? A decompression. I mean, a staging area. We have this 6-month birth phase. Then we have the 1 year, what we call in pre-industrialization phase. What we do in this phase is we keep the team as it is, but we pick one person from the target organization, and we bring her into the team. So it's the opposite of going to the org. We first pick somebody from the target organization, and then we share. We share knowledge. Of course, what happens is that he learns, this person learns agility, all the process you all know. But we learn his standards, his constraints, his technical standards, and this discussion makes the product converge. And when we get back, and we have done this only once, yes. So I won't tell you I have an industrial process regarding lean startup industrialization. I have done it once for the public tenders, and this worked this way because we need to preserve not only the product but the process, of course. Otherwise, it will be a failure. So this is my last insight. Let us take the time. Actually, we can as those products, those 3 to 4 people teams running servers that are worth 100 euros a month. I mean, it's not a lot of money. So it's not a problem if we keep the early stage product for 2 years, for instance, before we externalize to a target organization. So we take time, and our process is to get somebody involved, and this is the way we sell our startups to the administration. So let me summarize. Eventually, our manifesto is to focus on the problem and find the motto before we even write a single line of code. Don't try to innovate without an innovator that is really, really involved in solving the problem. Embed the users, embed the partners, and onboard them, and make them. And those bi-monthly meetings with demos are really, really happy moments and really necessary. Time is not negotiable. All my contracts for the people I hire for any products, the first contracts are all 6-month contracts, so that everyone understands that after the 6 months we run out of cash. It's over. If you don't have you won't be paid. So it's on a contract basis. So if we don't deliver before, no startup. Avoid all tasks beyond your autonomous team. This is easier to say than to do because you always have dependencies. But look, you can be very creative to lower the requirements on your collaterals. And last times they are changing when we are not successful startup. They need security and no more and a lot less of agility, and it's another cycle. And thank you very much for your peaceful attention.